So in this particular story that we're telling today, it's set in a rural context in rural South Carolina in a region that has about 90,000 people. It has been known for the loss of population. People have moved away. The kids aren't necessarily returning. It is a story of rural America that we're dealing with right now, not just in South Carolina, but across the country. In a series of strategic planning meetings that I was able to attend, almost 40 hours in every instance where we looked at every one of the different community development sectors, the talk always turned to the pride that people felt in place concerning arts and culture. It was the one unifying element. And from that experience, we built this initiative called the Art of Community Rural SC. With that, we've identified 6 local champions. We call them mavens. They're community connectors. We're working with people we haven't worked with before. We've asked them to develop teams that look like their communities and are made up of people who want to be at the table but aren't necessarily the same ones that are always at the table making decisions in communities. This has been a grassroots effort. You can see the map of South Carolina and the 6-county promise zone that's bolded there. These are our mavens, and we're very grateful to the work that they've put into this over the last 2 years to make this an outstanding, award-winning initiative in our country, not just in our state. So one of the things that we're looking at as we do this deeper work in our state is the stories that we tell about our places. What are the stories and who's telling those stories? What's unique and distinctive? So the conversation about assets, this is something that is a huge part of our initiative. How do we look at our place? Who's telling our stories? What's making us proud about where we live? Why do we stay there? Why are we the ones who are still there? What is our connection? And then we also ask, what's compelling and urgent about your place, your story? And who leads change? So through this initiative, we are developing new leaders and new young leaders who are joining the charge and owning their communities in new ways, new unexpected ways. And I want to show you a few examples of those ways right now. In Allendale, we're asking the question, how do we retain businesses? And we're looking at how arts and culture can interface in that conversation. In Bamberg, we're looking at blight. And what does that mean to our community? What happens when we clear a lot? Can we turn it into an art park? What happens when we do? In Hampton, we're looking at a nature trail just 2 blocks off of Main Street that nobody uses. We have health issues. How can we encourage people to use the nature trail, the walking trail? How can we incorporate arts and culture elements into that nature trail to make it more appealing? In Barnwell, we're looking at the disconnect between our youth and the history of our place. Can we put a mural on one of our walls downtown that illustrates that history that we have? Can we also combine that with an artist in residency at a local school that will also do a mural inside the walls of the high school? In Jasper County, we're looking at literacy as an issue where 27% of the population has trouble reading or cannot read. How can we use arts and culture to change that narrative and actually partner with new partners to improve that story and that outcome? And in Colleton County, we are looking at food and health. In this community rich with an agricultural history, how can we connect better to the story of our place? How can we engage with our community differently, get more people involved, and tell our story differently? And with that, I would like to present a film that's part of this project that looks at the Colleton County Commercial Kitchen Farmers Market Museum, and as we begin to tell our story in a new way. So with that, I'll I'll begin the film, and following the film, Matt will come up and tell more details about the story of his place.
"90 minutes from the state capitol and less than an hour to the beach, Walterboro, South Carolina, like many small rural towns, might appear to be fixed in time unless you take a closer look. Case in point, the College and Museum, Farmers Market, and Commercial Kitchen. It is a demonstration of a new approach to community building, sustainability, and connectivity. It provides links between the history of the area with the arts and cultural dynamics that, when woven together, make it a unique operation in the state of South Carolina. It's place-based, it's creative, and it's working. The organization is a new kind of hub for the cultural and entrepreneurial community. It has become a point of pride, earning accolades nationally and statewide. What's that happening in Walterboro, people asked? Visionary leadership, creative thinking, planning, and partnership, that's what. With the organization's launch of its commercial kitchen in 2015, it drew new attention to how small communities can use what they have in their own backyards to create locally sourced products, support residents, and attract new visitors. Enterprises like Burnt and Salty and A Soulful Taste are using the facilities, the programming, and the events to launch the products and their businesses. Korean mustard, coconut suka, Thai chili glaze are sold in the adjoining cafe. Some are making their way to local groceries in the southeast. The farmers market provides another reason to visit the center, certainly to purchase locally grown fruits and vegetables, but also to interact with one another, and for classes that emphasize health, well-being, and tasty recipes. Finally, the museum, which has been in operation since 1985, hosts performances that link to the region's culture, like Dave the Potter, and exhibits like the one on Tuskegee Airmen who trained there in World War II. This three-part organization is growing, listening, and demonstrating what the community values: a connection to place through the land, the food, the arts, history, and culture, and at the same time, delicious new recipes produced right at home in Walterboro, South Carolina.